So, tell me about your new job. Paul. Sounds exciting.
Yeah, well, it's something which as we've merged into NHS Improvement, bringing together TDA and Monitor. It's about looking at what elements of the business are we best served by analytics. So we created 3 senior posts. One is head of analytical development, who looks at tools and bits of software that we can utilise best, that we can push out to internally within NHS Improvement. And we have a head of analytics who looks at, if you like, all the sort of business as usual stuff. Okay. But there was a gap at the front of that in terms of, well, what's next? Yeah. So we got together and decided that we would create this function of analytics research. And it's not necessarily about inventing new analytical methods or techniques. It's about looking at what's the best way in which we utilise what we've already got in a way which is most useful for the needs of the business. And what we need for that is space in your busy, we're all busy, you need space in your busy diary to just go and play in the sandpit for a little while. And that's what the analytical research function is designed to do.
One of the things I've observed, because I've joined the NHS, been in 6 years, Dr. Foster, academia, management consultancy behind that. There's not much analytics going on. There's a lot of what people would call ETL in the hospital. There's a lot of people moving data around.
Exactly.
I've got to do this Unify return today. There's a junior doctor strike, so I've got to fill in a load of numbers. We've got to produce our monthly board report. All good stuff. But there isn't that. If you, what we always characterise it as that Google thing. It's sort of 70-20-10. You know, 70% business as usual, moving data around. 20% trying to do it in a better way. The use of business intelligence tools. But you've got to have some space to actually do analytics, to sit and think. How can we process map ED and make it better, whether it's nationally in your new role or locally in a provincial hospital? How do we create that space?
So I think you've hit on a couple of things there. One for me is we've got analysts. The generic term analyst is not really analytics. It's that lifting and shifting, as you say. It's that kind of taking data, copying and pasting stuff across, taking a unified download, stick it into a database, doing some SQL stuff on it. That for me is not analytics. That's data processing. So we've been very clear now within NHS Improvement that that's a line in the sand.
Can you influence?
We have a demarcation. Internally, I can.
How can you influence it for me, say in a hospital? If I think that's a good outcome, can you at the centres think, hang on, Mark's got quite a big team actually down in East Kent, but if we're honest, both of us, a lot of them are kind of just moving
doing
data
what they
around
need
a
not
bit.
be doing. So I think we can have a look at how. I think part of that is in the defining the role of analyst and saying to ourselves, actually, are these guys analysts or are they processing? And if we can make that, I always get slightly frustrated when analytics sits within an IT function, because analysts then get by default deemed to be IT people, which clearly they're not.
I think if you get a director of IM&T with best intentions, you're mixing different things in the same way that you mix surgery and anaesthetics. They're completely different things. IT and information are completely different things. You might have a skill set to manage both of those, but that would be quite considerable, I think.
So I think if you can, I think the trick with that is, and I think there'll be another line of demarcation, I think there'll be a line of demarcation further beyond that into data collection and then data processing. And then the analysts, from where I'm sitting, need to be the consumers of quality data on which to do the value added, which is turning that data into information, and above that then adding the intelligent commentary which makes it analytics.
One of the things you and I have been talking about a lot of this conference is we probably need to mature how good analytics is, but I'm also interested in getting those people out there, linking to the ops people. Now, is it fair to characterise the problem we have as moving on the maturity of the analytics and how it's done, but also getting those that are confident out there to meet people as well?
I think we need to break some of the stereotypes. I think we, as a community, sometimes play to them a little bit. So we had a comment today from one of our delegates around, but some of us don't like doing it.
No,
well,
that's all right.
That's fine, but actually, if that's then stopping that process being more value added to the business, we need to overcome that personal hesitance and reluctance to do that. One of the ways in which we do that, I think, is we draw that line of sight much more clearly for analysts in between what I do makes a difference to a patient. And I think if you're not fundamentally in the job for the reason of wanting to make a difference to frontline patient care, then you're probably in the wrong job.
So I think job descriptions probably do describe that.
They do.
Because they probably have those kind of high-level words about improving patient care. But I'm just interested in how we kind of move them on and get them out into the light a little bit. One of the things I'd be interested in your view on is things like STP, because that feels like it might be a sensible scale for which to, you know, share learning and have communities of practice and all of that. Are they in your plans?
They are in the plans. I mean, STPs are, so from two perspectives. So I'm also the national lead for demand and capacity planning. So one of the things that I'm very keen on with that is that we embed that skill set within local health economies, and we break that link to a central expertise, if you like. So people at a local level are self-sufficient. I think from an analytical perspective,
that's quite a big thing to say.
It's a big,
isn't it?
It's a big change
on a practical level.
Yes.
So in my trust, I've got people who are very good at that. There might not be people who are as strong in other trusts. So I might try and share that locally. And I'm interested, like you, and creating this link between the centre and the local. Because sometimes feels quite a distance. Actually.
So I think the STPs will help that. So I think when I speak to people, colleagues at senior levels, in some areas there is a sense of system altruism. They're happy to do that. They believe in it. They can see the value in it. In others, they're a little bit more hesitant to share what they see as a precious resource to somebody who they feel is in competition, for example. But I think what we need to get away from is thinking within the boundaries of your organisation. I think we need to think much broader than that. And so one of the things I'm very keen to do with the demand and capacity staff is to say within each STP there should be a cohort of 8 or 10 people who we will support in terms of having the technical expertise, but also then support them to have the softer skill set to do the engagement piece, so that they can then teach their own colleagues at a local level about how that works. When does it
feel like that's going to feel real?
I think that will feel real. So we're in the process of procuring that at the moment. We've done the spec for all of that. We're just going through the usual business case approvals process internally. I would hope to see the first cohort of those in place from April of 17. And we'll run 4 cohorts a year of about 40 people. And then we'll follow up. It'll be around a 9-month program.
Most important question. You said that statisticians is the sexiest
job.